We're passing off to the stars tonight. We wanna go, go. We wanna go, go.
Welcome back to Amazing Life. In our last episode, I had successfully made a snowy escape from Tennessee down to St. Augustine with the Moto Photo Adventure Guides. Today, we'll make it to Cape Canaveral, where we will camp out in a very secluded area of the campground. Florida, with a waterfront of 8,436 miles, makes it the most of any state, more than double that of California. It's no surprise that Florida is littered with lighthouses across its coastal waterfronts. Even with the heavy use of GPS and precision navigating, these lighthouses still stand as a beacon to maritime operators and used to this day, this one dating back all the way to 1589 when it was just a wood lighthouse. So Chris took off this morning a little early, so now we're going to meet him down at the Alligator farm. Gators, lighthouses, beaches. I love it. Do we get to eat these, or are these just to look at?
We're not going to see any alligators. We are here just because I wanted to tell you about this place. It's the most amazing location to photograph birds. Some of you know I'm a big fan of wildlife, and I come down here every couple of years, and they have a photographer's pass. So if you're a photographer and you follow our channel, highly recommend you get the photographer's pass. It allows you early entry and late departure, so you can get that magic hour of light at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. Egrets, herons, birds like that will come and build their nests over the alligator swamp. They know that their nests are protected from vermin like, raccoons and other little critters that might steal their eggs. So they know their eggs are safe. They know that alligators and crocodiles don't climb trees. So highly recommend visiting the St. Augustine Alligator Farm sometime in the spring. We are a little bit too early. The birds have not arrived yet. Let's go downtown and check out St. Augustine before we start heading south. Cool.
St. Augustine is ripe with history on many levels, from being originally under Spanish control to the British burning down the entire town, save one schoolhouse, to finally the fort that has stood the test of time. St. Augustine is a cool town to visit, to learn from the past and enjoy the present. So we're in downtown St. Augustine, and this is apparently the oldest wooden schoolhouse in the USA. And so if you look at it, they've put the chains there to symbolize the bondage that the children are in while they were in school. I'm only kidding. Actually, the whole thing is like sloping, and it looks like it's about to fall, and so I think they've changed it up to kind of, it's like the Leaning Tower of Schoolhouse. I would be curious to know the circumstances that caused the schoolhouse to survive the fires by the British. If you know, post a comment. From the shopping district where the school was located, we took a turn and headed for the fort known as Castillo de San Marcos. St. Augustine, established in 1565, now over 450 years old, it was already an old town by American standards by the time this magnificent fort was constructed. This fort, beginning construction in 1672, was originally built to protect against pirates. But since then, the fort has stood the test of time against numerous foes over the years. During the British siege of 1702, all 1,500 or so of the townspeople moved inside while allowing their livestock to be kept safely in the moat area. It begs to question if we have become too comfortable in our perceived safety that we have lost our gratefulness of what our ancestors suffered to keep this land.
Perfect subject matter for the infrared camera, the old cold stone against the rich dark sky and black and white. It's pretty neat contrast.
Chris became a magnet for tourists throughout our trip. Maybe he was to them, I'm not sure. Once a photographer, always a photographer, it would seem. It was fun to watch, and they always went away with some great photos. So as many of you know, if you're a drone operator, it's getting more and more difficult to fly legally in places such as a national park and things like that. This national park does not exceed over the water, and so there is a legal way that you can do it, but it just takes a lot more thought, and you have to take off from a legal spot, and then you have to obviously remain in legal airspace. There's only so far I could go toward and around the fort and remain legal, and so just an FYI on that, for if you are a drone operator, just because the airspace is clean does not necessarily mean that the ground is clean, and just because the ground is clean does not mean the airspace is clean. So there you go. Well, that, folks, is just a small taste of St. Augustine. We're heading on down. We're going to ride for about an hour, and then we're going to get some food. And it's funny because I really don't know where we're going next, because I'm just following along. So it's a little different than usual for me. St. Augustine is a very, very cool place. It's touristy. I mean, obviously, we're looking at trolley tours, but it is kind of fun to walk through. The shops are kind of cool. Some of the historic stuff, like the fort and other things, are just like hidden gems that are all throughout the city. So if you get a chance, come to St. Augustine and check out some of the sites. We're gonna head on, and I'm getting hungry, so it's time to eat. Here we go. Choosing to travel the A1A as much as possible kept us very close to the coast and gave us some spectacular views along the way. I highly suggest, if you're not in a hurry, to take this route if possible. Barbecue is one of those foods that is somewhat unique depending on the state that you eat it in. This barbecue was actually pretty close to Tennessee, surprisingly.
Hey! This looks pretty cool. We're starving. No.
There's menus behind you on the stand.
Okay.
And whenever you look them over, you'll order a team and have a seat wherever you'd like. Okay?
Being indecisive, or perhaps for science purposes, I had to test all options. What a great view as we ate watching the boats come in to a mini marina that was just down from the restaurant.
I see the sign. I saw the sign.
Yeah, the one down there is the one we're looking for. Welcome, and it says do not enter. Unfortunately, it must have been high tide as the beach was closed to vehicles when we went through. Denied. Yeah, there's no vehicles out there. Must be the wrong time of year.
Bummer. Yep.
Denied once again.
my gosh, that's like a city. It is a boat city. Absolutely gorgeous flight right now, eh? We are almost at our campsite. Thanks to Scott Reinblatt for recommending Jetty Park Marina. Thank you, Scott. Thanks.
Little did we know just how complicated it would be to secure the reservation. It ultimately took 5 back and forth emails to get payment done, as they can't take payment on site for either cash or card. You'd think it was owned by the government.
How are you? I'm great. We called and got a campsite reservation, and they supposedly were going to send me an email, but it's kind of hard to check email while you're riding on a motorcycle. Yes, we have reservations for one night at campsite 41, but they said that once we got here that we could take care of the payments or whatever.
It's a nice place. There's so many people here. It's very busy. This weather is very nice though. Supposedly we have a place that is pretty secluded, very nice, kind of away from the traffic and the RVs. So I think it's gonna be a nice evening. Now it's time to get some fresh fish or something to cook up for dinner.
Alrighty, Smith, Chris.
I know.
Do you guys have any seafood, fresh seafood that we can get around here?
Oh yeah, definitely. Seafood Atlantic.
Seafood
Atlantic has the freshest.
And where's
in town.
that?
In the Cove down in Cape Canaveral.
Beautiful. All right, thank you.
Have a blast. All right, here we go.
Alright.
The goal was to quickly set up camp, then head to the fish market to get our dinner going. Camp is done. Next stop, food. All right, so I've never been to this place, but typically the local seafood, you can buy it by the pound, and it's absolutely excellent because it's absolutely fresh. And so we're just gonna get a little bit of maybe some shrimp, a little fish, and hoping they got some veggies too. Then we can just like do it all in one spot. Otherwise, we'll have to go grab something. See what we got.
Thank you.
I'm thinking maybe a dozen of those size.
Oh, sure.
Probably enough.
Yeah.
What's your favorite fish? Mahi is either that or tuna.
Yeah.
Tuna's probably my favorite.
That one's gonna do that.
It's funny, buy local, and it's Trinidad, Ecuador, Brazil. Where exactly is the local? Here we go. There's some tilefish. I've never had tilefish, but it is local.
You don't even know what tilefish is.
Oh yeah. Looks white. Yeah. Looks like a nice whitefish. Let's try that.
Okay, sounds good to me.
One of those and a dozen, well, a pound of that and a dozen of those. That's more than enough.
Perfect.
So can you tell me anything about the tilefish? I've never had that before, but it's local.
It's
So
local, yeah. It's a really mild, flaky whitefish. There's really no fishy flavor at all to it. It's got a little sweet flavor to it.
kind of like a bass or a crappie,
It's really
or like a
its own
crappie.
world,
It's in its own world.
Yeah, it's
Is it meaty or is it more like
it's more very flaky. It's very delicate. So if you're trying to cook it on the grill or anything like that, you want to be
like a pan fry though, right?
very good fry.
I'll do a pound of that, and then I'll do a dozen of the white shrimp.
You want me to take the skin off or the bones out for you?
No, because I'm probably going to cook it on that side first, so where it won't burn it. Will the skin hold up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It actually helps hold it together.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Did I get you anything else?
I think that's it. You guys don't have vegetables or anything, right?
We've got some produce in back.
So we have like potatoes, we have asparagus.
Asparagus is perfect. Asparagus would be great. Yeah. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right. You guys have a good one.
You too. That was good.
Oh, good.
Hey, and we got the whole meal in one spot too.
Sweet.
$31, dude, for all this food.
$10 each.
That ain't bad at all.
No.
Usually pumps up better when you actually have the valve off, not on.
That's how I do mine.
I admit the simple stoves are easier, but they can't simmer like this stove, which is required for real cooking. Okay, let's do our shrimp. Now, I am going to find some wet wipes. Did not think that through. This is a camper's best friend. You can clean anything with a wet wipe.
Anything. He means anything.
Anything. Your plates.
No
your
camp
pots.
shower. You're boondocking it.
Yep.
Shower.
Although I do use dudes versus. I think these have like some kind of fancy scent.
Would you like some Grey Poupon?
All for say.
So I've got Italian seasoning, Greek seasoning. Anyway, I'm gonna use the Greek seasoning on the shrimp. So it's gonna be cooked. The shrimp are gonna be cooked. Oh, you got garlic? Oh, that's even better. It's basically shrimp scampi. All right, so I went over to an RV. These ladies were playing cards. Their mistake. They were playing outside. Opportunist pulled over and said, "Guys, I have a really weird question to ask you." I have a really weird request. Do you mind if I ask? Do you happen to have a little butter that I could use to cook my fish with? Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate it. And they all looked at me pretty quizzically. And I was like, do you have any butter? And sure enough, they had some. Gave me a little pat of butter, and they're like, you don't even have to bring it back. I'm like, it's a good thing.
Nice.
So got that. So we're about to do the shrimp, basically a shrimp scampi. On my stove, we're gonna be doing, it's a golden tile. It's a local fish, and it was fresh. It wasn't even, it was thawed. So that was like one of the few fresh fish that they actually had that was harvested locally. Pretty cool. So we're gonna have that in Chris's skillet, and then we're probably not gonna be able to cook it all at the same time, so we're gonna try to do that, but we'll just see what happens. Jeez, it's whipped butter. Tell me that.
Nothing but the best
That's
for
not,
you.
that's not gonna last long. Yeah, there might be some butter in there somewhere.
Get the fish in.
This is just to get a little on the bottom and start heating that up. will shrink some. That's why we need the top on it. So hang on.
And the oil the top.
Yeah, that'd be great. That won't work. That's not the oil. I don't know if you're noticing this, but the shrimp is starting to smell really good. And they're starting to curl up a little bit. And the butter, it's working. It's not the best. It's working. And I think we are going to need a little salt and pepper, and I do have fresh ground salts. Salt.
Himalayan sea salt.
It is Himalayan sea salt.
Love Himalayan. Bring it on. Come on, come on, come on.
A little pepper, because you always need pepper. Not sure what happened to my tongs. I think they're in my Jeep kit. I lost my tongs. Yeah, I knew the shrimp would get done sooner. We'll probably have shrimp as appetizers and then that and asparagus for the meal, because I'll cook the asparagus in this one, so that's fun. Oh, if you're curious, this is the Primus skillet, and it's got a heavy bottom, so it actually cooks really evenly. It's one of the best camp skillets I've ever used. I love it. And I've got a video that talks about this whole setup, so check that out. Give that one a shot, Jason.
Sure.
There you go.
Hot, hot.
You good?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is good. It's meaty, but it's like still juicy.
Yep. That's perfect.
That one's good. This one's good. This one's even a bit more done.
Oh, perfect seasoning.
Yeah, it actually worked out pretty good, didn't it?
Those are just right.
And we're the asparagus.
Whoop. Look at this guy first. See what you think, Chef.
I'd leave it. That skin is not going to burn, and if it does, we're not going to eat the skin anyway, so I'd leave it like that. Just let it
I don't know. I
basically
like some
steam.
crispy skin myself.
This
Oh, I eat the skin on when we cook at home. That's
guy's not right.
lots of good fatty acids in that thing.
All right, so a quick trick to knowing if your asparagus is any good is you basically, where it breaks, that's the good part. So the older it gets, it'll go further and further up. So he's not bad. That was a little rubbery. It's just cordy if you get too far. Like this, look at this guy. So out here you keep the seasoning simple, and that's why I like Greek and Italian. They've got a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of times I'll throw an essential oil in there if I want like oregano or something like really strong. I'll throw oregano or cilantro or something like that in oil form at the very end, because it's already exposed. The flavoring is exposed in essential oil, so you don't have to cook it out, which is what you're doing with dried oil or dried herbs. But this will work. Plant is hard. All right, I'm gonna push that way. So, and then there you go. Beautiful teamwork.
Man, I shot a lot of high-end weddings and eaten a lot of shrimp and grits from some famous places. This is just as good, man. David, that rocks.
Thanks, man. It's fun to do. That's a good-looking fish. Off the skin.
Save that for Chris.
And Chris, this is Chris's piece. The skin. Okay, you can have all of that you'd like. Now let's see how. Oh, look at that.
That's amazing.
That's perfect.
See how I did that? Amazing.
Amazing.
Life.com.
All right. Not bad camp food.
That's extraordinary.
Very mild fish. Like it's really, really good.
So you're tasting mostly the seasonings, or does it have a deep fish flavor?
No, like you wouldn't even know it was fish at all. It's that mild. The texture is really, really good though.
All right, Chris, give it a whirl.
It's real.
Tell me your thoughts there, Chris.
Wow. It's like a mahi-mahi.
It is, isn't it?
Very good. I love it. Nice job.
Oh, the steam coming off this thing.
All right. This is the reality of it. Does it take a little more effort? Yeah, it takes a little more effort, but there's only so much you can eat hot dogs and hamburgers and just not go insane. And so wherever you're local, there's always somewhere that you can find the local food, whatever it is. I've made tacos, I've made this stuff. It's all good, and it's much better for you, and it tastes amazing. Go outside. This is great. This is what it's about, guys.
Absolutely. It's hot too.
It is hot.
Man, it tastes good when it's hot.
The next morning, before packing up, I took the time to head to the beach and spend some time enjoying the surf. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit the like button. It really does make a difference in how often it gets seen for others. If you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing. There's more to come, both to and four-wheel travel. Join us next time as we continue south toward Miami as we find birds, gators, and Cuban food, all in the next video. Until next time, as always, make life amazing.